Here he is. Brett, how you doing?
I'm amazing, mate. Lovely to see you, Tony. How you doing?
Very good. All my listeners have been asking, where's Brett? Where is he?
Here I am. Here I am. I'm back.
Great to have you back. It's been a while since you come on the podcast, and today is a good time to speak to you because we're obviously in the middle of the holiday madness. And what you're looking at, what you're already thinking about is, right, how do we come down from all this madness at the start of the year? We'll get back onto that into a sec. But what's been going on in your life I like to live vicariously through you. What's been going on?
Mate, so much. I don't know about anybody else, but 2025 for me has just been, it was a weird year. It was a completely weird year. Lots of like challenges coming up, lots of shadow work coming up. But then also on the other side of it, lots of joy and bliss. Lots of dancing. I'm really into my bachata, my Latino salsa dancing. I'm loving that. And I built a new house in the jungle, in the off grid, in the middle of Thailand.
Oh my good
Yeah.
God. Yeah, I have been following all your progress on that. That's amazing. So where do we start? Should we start with the challenges then? Because you've been really open about it and you've been posting some videos, but
Yeah.
obviously you've been helping an incredible amount of people for a long time with meditation, with their work, with coaches, and yet you've had your own struggles this year, haven't you?
Yeah, it's a really good point. That's actually what I just mentioned in one of my last YouTube videos. Many years ago, right, Tone? Like most of your audience know my story. When I was on drugs and in prison, I had like depressing moods. I had some suicidal thoughts, if I'm honest. What's the point of being here? And then obviously I was just on a come down. So when the drugs kind of disappeared and I was up again, I thought it was just because of the drugs. I
Mm,
always knew why I felt bad. And there's a couple of times that I really, contemplated taking my own life on that journey. But again, because I was taking drugs and bang at it, I knew why I was feeling down. But then fast forward to like 8 months ago, when I'm living in Thailand, money in the bank account, I'm a published author. Like you said, I've helped thousands of people get onto this
mm,
meditation journey. And suddenly, out of nowhere, I just had this kind of cloud of depression, just a darkness came over me. And if I'm really vulnerable and honest, like I was on YouTube, I started to binge eat. I started to watch pornography. I slipped into some old habits. Thankfully, I didn't go back to drugs and it wasn't as bad as being in Bangkok off my nut. But even that stuff, I realized how sensitive I was because of the food that I was eating. Just made me feel horrible.
mm,
Watching movies, I started scrolling more on this social media stuff, and I just went into a very dark space, if I'm honest, Tone. And it was interesting because it was actually more scarier this time because I wasn't taking drugs. Life was
mm,
absolutely incredible. I'm living in Thailand, like literally 1 minute from the beach. Um, and it was such a good reminder because in my book Awaken Your Spirit, I basically wrote that your mind creates a prison or paradise. And it doesn't matter where you are in the world. When I was actually in prison, I started to meditate for the first time and I found a bit of freedom. But then when I came out of prison, now I'm living in Thailand, I started to feel like I was literally in a prison in my own mental health. And so I realized that I had to do some, more deeper work on myself. And there was just a lot of like self-love that I had to look at, if I'm honest. Clearly, like watching pornography, scrolling and binge eating crap food wasn't making me feel good. But that was
mm,
just an expression of the upheaval that was in the unconscious mind. I love Carl
mm.
Jung. Carl Jung, his quote is, unless you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. And I just realized, even though it was 20 years later, I still had some unconscious beliefs and programming in my brain that I had to change. So yeah, it was a
Wow.
wobble, mate. It was such a wobble. But now I feel a million times clearer, stronger, lighter. And I think that's why I'm a bit more passionate now talking about these topics like suicides, and depression and things like that, because I just want people to hold on. Like I really realized that you've just got to go through it. It's not actually a bad thing. It's just part of you. Like you're shedding your skin like a snake. I was just removing another layer of the old identity. And now I feel like I'm bloody the Buddha. I'm completely enlightened and I'm free.
Well, that is really good to hear, and I'm sorry that you've had such a tough time because, yeah, it sounds really challenging. But as you say, probably an important process to go through to come out the other side. And there's no doubt about it. If you're going through a challenging time and you're slipping into bad habits, Thailand has a lot of temptations to offer as well, doesn't it?
Right? Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
My
And
temptations, though, this shows how much I've changed. My temptations is sneaking off to 7-Eleven at 10 o'clock at night to buy a bit of vegan chocolate. So I'm not in the go-go bars, not in the go-go bars with the ladyboys doing cocaine. So there's part of me is like, if Brett, if you're going to blow out, have a proper blowout, mate. But I wasn't. I was in the 7-Eleven eating chocolate.
I mean, I know that from when we were living over there, and you used to come and stay, but you'd be in bed at 9 o'clock at night, and then out in the garden doing yoga at 5 o'clock in the morning. Um, well, while all that was going on, you built a house in the jungle. Oh, I mean, you didn't just build it yourself; you got some people to help you build it. But tell me about that, because that is something that I'm very excited for you.
Well, you saw my other house, all right? The house that we lived at, where we did the podcast on the beach. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm literally 1 minute behind the back of that house.
Right.
Like, I'm looking at the window right now. There's just nothing but jungle and then ocean behind it, and it's like I'm living in a meditation app. All I can hear is the peace and the tranquility of nature, and it's incredible. And yeah, it's an interesting story, mate. I moved out of that other house because there was so much mold. The rainy season really messed the house up. And I moved out that house. I was talking to a lady who did my laundry every week. I take my laundry to her. She said, "Oh, I've got some land. Do you want to build a house?" And I thought nothing of it. She said, "Let me know what you want." And I literally went to the coffee shop. I drew some plans on a piece of paper, pulled the piece of paper out of my notepad, gave it to her, and then literally 4 months later, she's built the house, and now I'm living in it. I'm sitting in the house right now. It's insane.
Do you own it? Do you own it?
No, I don't own it. No, I'm just I'm paying long term. Yeah, it's a lease.
Oh my goodness! And just for people who don't know where you are, and we spoke about this in the podcast a couple of years ago, it is absolutely beautiful. It's paradise. I mean, it's gorgeous, and you're close enough to all the action if you want it. And you can get on your motorbike and go in there a couple of times a week and enjoy that, and the rest of the time it's just peace, isn't it?
It is literally like living an app. But again, I don't want to make it too doomy and gloomy, because I'm just really passionate and I understand what a lot of people are going through, especially in the UK and Europe. Even though I'm living in this paradise, mate, when that mental health took over, like, and that made it even feel worse, because you feel like you should be more grateful. I felt guilty because I've got everything. And then that monkey mind literally took over and took me hostage. So I think now my message to share with people is like, paradise is within. You've got to really create it inside, because you can have all the beauty on the outside. You can have a lovely relationship with a beautiful 10 out of 10 woman or man. You can have a six-pack, a beautiful body. But if your mental health and that monkey mind is like for some reason against you, you won't see what you've got. You kind of sabotage it, or you'll crave for more and more. So yeah, it was a big wake-up call for me. But yeah, I am living in absolute bliss. But bliss always starts inside, I believe now.
Yeah. And something to think about, which is interesting, is we've spoken a lot on this podcast, not you and I, but me with other guests, around mold, because my other website and my other sort of passion project really is the histamine intolerance site. And I am extremely susceptible to mold myself. And that the whole reason that I have histamine intolerance is because of high levels of mycotoxins in my system, which come from mold. And I'm still really sensitive to it. And one of the things that it hits straight away is my mindset and my mental state. Absolutely makes me feel so depressed when I have a flare up. The link between the physical and the mental is huge. So you were going through all that, and you were being affected by mold, which definitely affects mind and body as well. And we don't know how much, because everybody's different. But for me, that would have a real effect on how I was feeling as well.
Mate, it's so interesting you say that, because at the beginning, I never had a clue what was going on. I just had my mindset started to get a bit, like you say, mental health, crazy negative thoughts. And then I went to the gym and I saw a lady that I haven't seen for months. And I said, "Oh, how have you been? Where have you been?" She said, "Oh, I got really sick. I had a mold infection in my house, or mold infection or something." She goes, "I felt depressed. I felt," and I was like, she basically said all the symptoms. She felt tired, fatigued. She basically said all of the symptoms that I was literally feeling right at the beginning of it. And I told her, and she told me to get out of the house and get it clean. So I went back to the house. I looked up on the roof, and there was mold everywhere, Tone. And now what you're saying, I literally went to the gym the other day, and there's a tiny little bit of mold in the corner of the shower. As soon as I went into the shower, I smelt it. Now I'm just so sensitive to it. But that is serious. I've never thought about it. Never even knew anything about it. But that stuff is really, really, and in Thailand as well, it's there's a lot of it. The houses get very moldy. Yeah, because it gets rain in the rainy season, and then it's just boiling hot for months. So it and the wood, they build the houses with the wood. So it was a shock for me, mate. And then that kind of like ignited and triggered this whole kind of wobble of this year, last year or this year. I don't even know what year is. Mold is still kicking in.
Yeah. I mean, mold is classed as a carcinogen by the World Health Organization,
What's a
and
carcinogen?
it's something that can cause cancer.
Wow.
So, along with smoking and alcohol and stuff like that. And yeah, you might have to, I mean, I have to be super on it now. And it just isn't a little example. This isn't related to how I was feeling mentally at all over the last few weeks, but I kept getting headaches and feeling very dehydrated, and then drinking more and more water and electrolytes to try and sort it out. I couldn't figure out what the problem was. And then I discovered last week, I love a nice big, I'm still going to the gym every day, Brett, and like you and I used to do when I was over there. And I made myself a massive smoothie in my glass smoothie maker with a tiny little rubber seal around the lid. And I looked at the rubber seal, and there was a little bit of mold on there. And I couldn't clean it off. I mean, it's a tiny seal and it's not much mold on there. But I guess when you think about it, it was putting bits of mold into my smoothie every day.
Yeah.
So I've stopped using that, and the headaches have gone.
It's fascinating. The funny thing, well, not funny, but same thing. I checked the pillows when I went into the next house after the moldy house. I checked the pillows in the new place because I started to get headaches. Exactly what you're saying. There was mold in the pillows. I was like, oh my God. Yeah.
In the new place, or the old place?
Not the one. No, not the one that I'm in now. I had a transition place. So I moved out of the moldy place, went to another place for 4 months while they built this place. And in that place that I was transitioning, there was a bit of mold in there, only a little bit. But as soon as I bought new pillows, my mindset started to change again. Fascinating, isn't it?
It really is. Yeah. It's and you know what? Like, increasingly, because it took me 20 years to figure out that all these weird symptoms that I was suffering from were histamine intolerance. But it took me another 5 years to figure out that the reason for that was mold and mycotoxins. So I do actually genuinely hope that other people going through that will find that out quicker, because it often is mold. And I have found, I mean, there's all sorts of different reasons that people might have histamine intolerance, but the number one is mold. It's a real problem, and it has terrible effect on your health. So I'm really sorry to hear that you've had those issues this year. And how could you not, when you were in that house and you said there was loads of mold in the ceiling?
Ridiculous, mate. It's like
what did it look like?
Well, eventually, because the house was white, if you remember, it was all white, and the ceiling was white. And it was probably the rainy season last year. I mean, we always say that, but it was probably one of the worst rainy seasons we've had in a long time, to the point where in the kitchen, there was about 2 or 3 inches of water in the kitchen. The ceiling that I was living under, it was like, it just started, there was just mold patches just started growing on the ceiling. And when I looked over, I looked inside, there was just mold everywhere, mate. Like, it was horrible. Ugh.
Yeah, because once that starts to happen, you can't clean it. Cleaning it actually makes it worse.
Well, bless the lovely Thai lady, because my old man's a builder, so I've been on the building sites my whole life when I was younger, and that kind of lifestyle. And she said, it's okay, we'll paint over it. And she painted over it. And I just said, you've either got to change the roof or do something. And they weren't up for it. And that's why I left that beautiful house on the beach, because they weren't looking to repair the roof. And I know that if you don't change that, that's just going to keep coming back every rainy season. So I had to move out. But everything for a reason. Like, now 10 times stronger, better, even more sensitive to these things. I guess like you, like now you're so passionate and sensitive to it, you want to share it with others, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, exactly. I don't regret that it's happened. Sometimes, I mean, it is a blessing being the canary in the coal mine, because some people don't react to it. Faith, my wife, she's not bothered. And and I'm sensitive. I'm so sensitive to mold. I'm so sensitive to fragrances in washing powder. And the other day she did, not me. We did a whole wash of all the sheets with a new organic laundry detergent that we'd bought in the organic market with a scent of lavender. I'm so sensitive. I got into bed. I couldn't sleep. I said to Faith, I'm really sorry about the washing, but it's awful. I can't sleep. We need to wash them all again, but don't worry, I'll do it. She rolled her eyes and she was like, just let's do it together.
That's true love, mate. That's true love.
That is true love. Yeah. That's what you get when you sign up to a life with me. Yeah. And a lot of people here in Portugal because it does get very humid here actually, and rains a lot in winter. And people run dehumidifiers all the time.
Yes. Yeah.
Is that
I
something you're
heard
doing?
about them. No, I'm not actually, but that's what's, to be honest with you, mate, it was just too much. I just had to get out of the house. I could have
Yeah,
put the humidifiers, and I had to get out. It wasn't,
yeah,
yeah. And that was the best thing I did, because then that snowballed into where I am now. So again, I'm a bit woo woo and spiritual. Everything happens for a reason. In a weird
yeah.
way, that mold actually was a really gift. And then even the mental health that it kind of took over, I was like, wow, it's opened me up in such a different way. Like, I'm relating to people in such a more loving, compassionate way. And I think I was like that anyway, but it's just even deeper now. And so I'm
Mm.
glad it all happened. But yeah, I don't think one of these like dehumidifiers would have worked, if I'm honest, in that
Yeah,
place.
yeah, 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 yeah. I guess now it would be good as a sort of preventative. And
Yeah,
in
yeah,
fact,
yeah,
for us,
totally.
it's about time we dig ours out for winter. But it's amazing because you run it, and then like 2 hours later, it's just a tank full of water. It's mad.
Fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
It's mad.
um,
You know what's mad for me? Listening to you talk about living in Portugal, and it feels
yeah.
like yesterday you was here in Thailand. It's
I know,
crazy.
I know. Yeah, yeah. And actually, it was about 3 years ago now, wasn't it?
Wow, that's gone quick, huh?
Yeah, yeah. Well, look, for people who haven't heard those podcasts or previous podcasts, obviously you've been teaching people to meditate for years and years, and then you were certifying meditation coaches, and then you've been working with coaches on building their business. But just go into a little bit what you do with people now and what you're doing with people at the start of next year, because I feel like we're right in the middle of the madness of the holiday season, Thanksgiving and Black Friday and all that. And at some point, we're going to come down from all of that, and we need what you're offering at the start of the year.
And that's where Brett's going to step in. Yeah, I'll be
Yeah,
waiting
yeah.
for you on the other side, guys.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm still doing the same thing, mate. We're still doing the meditation and breathwork teacher training courses, and I'm still helping coaches and healers and trainers build their online coaching businesses, like the funnels and stuff like that. And that's my business, and I love that. I really really enjoy that. Obviously, my true passion is just really helping people understand our mental and emotional, even spiritual health, and just coming back to that joy and that peace. I look out in
Mm,
the world right now. I haven't been to England for years, but I watch a clip on YouTube about UK and what's going on, and it's just crazy out there. Or I hear all other people, and I'm just like, wow. I think 2026 for me is all about awakening and really protecting your peace, like really coming back, protecting your mental health, your emotional health, and getting out of this social media vibe, and just watching the world through a screen.
mm,
Because I noticed how much that affected my mental health. So I had this idea, and we're trying to get 1,000 people to meditate together every day for 30 days in January. I've called it the 1,000 Minds Challenge. There's so many studies that, with these gurus that have gone to like New York and different places where they've meditated,
mm,
thousands of people. They
mm,
say that it kind of like reduced the crime rate. It helped other people feel happier in the local community. And I don't know, but I do know the benefits that I feel when I'm meditating. And after this crazy wobbly year that I've had, the thing that I came back to the most was literally the breath. I just sat in
mm,
nature. I come back to my breath tone. I come back to the real basic meditations I started 20 odd years ago. And I was like, oh, there I am. There's my peace.
mm.
There's Brett. The monkey mind is still busy, but there I am. And so, yeah, we're going to be doing that. It kicks off on the 1st of January. And we're going to be doing it live every day. I'm going to be
That's
guiding it
great.
for about 20, 30 minutes. Yeah. So it'd be like meditation, visualization. It's kind of spirituality. It's not really spiritual fluff. It's more
Mm,
practical. I love all the
mm,
woo-woo stuff, but it's also common sense for me. It's just like, we've
mm,
all got a monkey mind. We've all got thousands of thoughts every day. Let's just come back to the breath a little bit and just relax and calm that mind down. So yeah, I'll share some links with you, mate. If any of your listeners want to join us, they're more than welcome. We've got a wait list at the moment. You can just go to my Instagram, Brett Moran _, and you can just join the wait list. And I'm sure you'll get some emails from me to encourage you to sign up, because I think, like you say, after the craziness, after all this madness, you're just going to come back after you spend all this money, you've ate all this food, had one too many to drink, you're going to come back to you. And I think that's probably the most precious place that we can come back to, is that peace. So
mm.
that's our goal for next year. 2026 for me is really creating that peace for everyone again.
That's very cool. So are you doing it on WhatsApp? The meditations on WhatsApp?
No, they'll be live. They'll be on my platform, on my website. So it'll be like a video call
Yeah.
like this, and
Yeah.
I'll just be guiding. And it'll be like on beaches in Thailand, wherever I am in the world. I'm going to go
Yeah.
live and just guide people through the meditation.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, and we've got other challenges as well. We're going to do like a 2 or 3 day fast. We're going to, do live coaching sessions where I get to coach people live. But the main thing is 30 days live meditation. And also as well, like, again, for some other people that have been through this wobble of a year or had a bit of a weird one, get some direction and focus. Like, where are you going in 2026? I think 2026 is going to be such an exciting year for people that are on this kind of journey, that whether they're biohacking, whether they're meditating, consciously thinking about who they want to become. We're going to create a lot of that for next year. So yeah, we're going to create visualizations and stuff like that.
I think that's awesome. And when people start to think about 2026, we're doing quite a few podcasts at the start of next year based around resolutions that actually stick rather than don't get ripped up 3 weeks after the start of the new year. And what it often comes down to, and I've been coaching for years and then coaching other authors for years as well, what it often comes down to is accountability, which
100%.
really helps. One-to-one accountability is great if you can find that. And I often do that with the people that I work with. But once you're part of a group and everyone else is doing it, and there's 1,000 of you doing it, you're accountable to those people as well. And that alone can just make you sit down and do the work.
Yeah, mate, you hit the nail on the head. I don't know what date it is exactly, but I think it's about the 2nd or the 3rd week of January where 50% of people have given up on their New Year's resolutions. And I think it's by the end of January, almost nearly everybody's like flopped on their New Year's resolution, like 5% or 10%. So for me, accountability is something that has really helped me become who I am today. I've had coaches, I've had yoga teachers, I've had so many people helping me get to where I am today in all different areas of life. But the other thing that I've really noticed as well, there's a lot of people facing a lot of like loneliness in the world at the moment, and so I think a big buzzword is community. People need to find their tribe or their community. So we're creating that as well. We're creating a safe place where people can learn, they can grow together, meet like-minded people. I've done it before, but it's always been through my businesses. But this one's a passion project just because of what I've been through. I'm just like, okay, right, let's just bring everyone together. Let's just meditate, realize we're all mental, but we can all come back to the meditation, and then have that accountability. We've got challenges going on. If people complete 30 days, they get a bonus, all these different things that are going to keep people in that higher vibe, I'm hoping. But community is really important. I realized that myself this year, how I'm sure you've felt that when you've moved to Portugal. Like, what's the new community you've created over there?
It's the most important thing. And actually, when we came here, we sort of said, we didn't put all our eggs in one basket. We said, let's come over and see if we like it. And then if we do, we'll stay. And after 2 months, we were like, oh yeah, we like it, because obviously the weather's great, but there's loads of places where the weather's great, but we've met so many lovely people. And I think it is easier when you've got a primary school aged kid, because you've just got a ready-made sort of friendship group there. But actually, quite apart from that, I sort of feel like I'd never have made this social circle in London, although I did have good friends in London. And it's just a lot of like-minded, interesting, very weird and unusual people will get motivated to move to this part of the world. A bit like where you live, but it's good fun.
Brilliant. Yeah. I think it's the same for me as well. I do a lot of the Latino dancing. So for me, I've got that community. I've got a lot of social life, and especially on this island as well. There's loads of, but there's a lot of people that haven't got access to those kind of communities. Hence why we want to create like an online community, but then encourage people to go out and find their tribe. So yeah, I think community is a big word for me next year.
Yeah. It's so ironic, isn't it, that, all the sort of advances of tech nobody wants to go into the office every day. Everyone wants to work from home if they can. But it really is better when you go into the office, even though you have to sit on a train for an hour every day. You're around people, and we're social. We're supposed to be around people. I found now as well, like, it's a paradox that I love doing this podcast. Absolutely love it, and yet we're both sitting down looking at a screen right now. I mean, when I first did these podcasts, I barely ever did these in on screens. In fact, I don't think I even knew how to do it. And you and I, certainly for years, we never did one online, did we? We just met in person.
On your mobile phone outside coffee shops and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
When it was raining in Thailand.
Yeah. And at Yoga Connect in 2015.
Yeah, that was the first one, I think. That was the first one, right?
So that was over 10 years ago now.
Funny you just said that. Actually, I was just in a kind of like a coffee shop, but a co-working space, and I just took a moment to look around, and there must have been about 8 people in there, and I think 7 of them were just staring at their mobile phones. And it's a conscious kind of island, people. I just think it's everywhere now. We've just got to really. One thing I've noticed so much is the screen
Mm.
time really
Yeah.
affected my mental health.
Mm.
Just being up a little bit late, scrolling a bit too much. I just started to notice the mind it went, mate. And
Yeah.
and even like I say, even in these conscious places, it's everywhere now. The great thing about Thailand at the moment, there's cafes that are popping up where you're not allowed to be on your screen. Like no laptops on the
Wow.
table. Yeah. And I remember thinking the thought that I thought was like, shit, is she going to get any customers? Because everyone
Yeah.
comes in because they want to do work. And actually they're becoming the busier places and people are just talking and we're just connecting and we're
Yeah.
playing card games. And I've created like a little community where we've got like the locals every 2 weeks we have a games night. And it's just like, it's beautiful. It's like what it was like years ago. So yeah, I think it's just something that's very important, especially for next year.
That's awesome. That's great.
Mm.
Yeah, we've got. And talking of one more thing on community, we've got a couple of clubs here.
Ooh.
My mate set up a swim club, and every Wednesday we meet on the beach. We go for a swim, and the sea is nothing like in Thailand. It's bloody cold here, and we have a 20-minute swim in the sea, and then we have a coffee on the beach afterwards, and it's
Oh,
always the highlight of the week.
amazing.
Yeah. And then the other club I set up, and it's a founders club based on people who've sort of got their own businesses in loosely based around health, personal development, wellness, that sort of thing. There's loads of people like that out here. And it's great just to hang out with similar people doing similar things and chat. And just like if you and I got together for a coffee today, I know we could have 2 hours talking about like funnels and how to get the best out of the people that we're working with and that sort of thing. Being able to surround yourself with that sort of community is lovely. So it's been nice to set up
Yeah.
a club myself. And also that is another way of giving back to the people around you as well.
It's amazing, mate. Yeah, it's really good. It's kind of like what you're doing with the biohacking, this new channel. It's like spreading it out.
Yeah.
Again, back to what we were saying earlier. I think we go through these challenges or these struggles in life, but then
Mm.
some people like yourself, you then use that as an opportunity just to share it with others, right? And I think that's
Yeah.
why I want to create a community, just to say, look, yes, you're going through it, but you're not alone. You got to find it. But some of us, we don't realize that sometimes. We feel like we're so alone, and then it's harder to reach out. But it's good
Mm.
that you got people like you creating these clubs and these communities.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah. And
amazing.
I'm focused on, because obviously we do know a lot of expats out here. My Portuguese is getting pretty good, but it's a
Go on,
tough
give me
language
something.
to
Say
learn.
say say something.
Io sono Tony, io vivo in Portugal. I am Tony and I live in Portugal.
Amazing. Pretty good, mate.
Yeah, my son right now would be taking the mickey out of me on my accent if he was here, but yeah. Um, I can't remember what I was gonna say now. But anyway, it's
I think
important to have these communities, and I think it's absolutely amazing what you're doing with the challenge. So we'll put a link in the show notes, and
yeah.
just remind people where they can find it.
Yeah, just come over to my Instagram. Just send me a
Yeah,
message, or there's a link in the bio. Just Brett
yeah,
Moran, Moran, and then there's a underscore. Or just message you on me.
that's
I
awesome.
spoke to a guy. I won't say his name. He became a client a long, 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 long time ago. We were talking a few years ago, and
Mm,
every time I speak to him, he always mentions me and you. He listened to me and you on the first ever podcast, and I
right,
literally spoke to him 2 weeks ago. Yeah, and I think that's
really?
probably what triggered me to get back in contact with you.
Yeah,
And I was like, wow, it's so interesting, And again, it's back to why it's so important that why we connect to each other and we reach out to each
yeah.
other, right? So
Yeah, of
yeah,
course it is. Of course it is. And actually, it's funny because sometimes you need an excuse. Like this
yeah,
podcast is obviously, I don't do it to catch up with mates like you, but it has provided an excuse for us to have a really good catch up.
yeah,
So it's been great. And I feel very grateful for that. And actually, a lot of people over the years have said that they've come to your work because of me or my work because of you. So,
yeah,
because I've obviously been on your podcast and videos as well. So, yeah, if anyone's signed up, do let me know how it goes. And I'm going to do it as well because it sounds
yeah.
absolutely
Be
brilliant.
amazing. Yeah, it'd be nice.
Now, before you go, what about your routine then? This is something that I do every week. It's the Midweek podcast. What's your daily routine like? Are there any things we might consider biohacks? I know that you're very into meditation and nature. I'd love to hear how you spend your mornings.
Yeah, okay, good question. So, first thing I do when I wake up is I do a gratitude or a meditation prayer or affirmations, whatever you want to call it. Then I'll get out of bed. I'll go straight for a walk on the beach. So about 6:30, I'm on the beach, and I try to get my 10,000 steps in. Sometimes I get about 5 or 8,000, but I try and get my 10,000 steps in first thing in the morning. No mobile phone, and just and then after my steps I'll sit down and I'll just listen to the ocean. I'll get some sun on my face, and then I'll take the dogs back home, and the first thing I drink is a turmeric shot with apple cider vinegar. That's the first thing that I drink. And then about 2 liters of water, or 1.5 liters, like a big bottle of water. And then I'll do intermittent fasting until midday, which is normally my goal. So the first thing I have is the turmeric shot, and then the water. And then I'll check my phone. I don't check my phone, so I'll do my first block of work, and then I'll check my phone later on the afternoon around 12, 1 o'clock. I just really hot on getting off of these screens as much as possible now. And if I'm honest, in the afternoon, I do a little bit more work, but it's a bit more kind of relaxed. And then I'm straight to the ice bath, straight to the gym, straight to really into my saunas and ice baths at the moment. I mean, I think I've been into them since me and you were talking in Thailand last time. Yeah. But to be honest with you, mate, it's almost the same route. It's almost the same routines that I've been doing. I think the key, like whether you're doing biohacking, meditation, barefoot walking on the sand or in the park, I think the key is consistency. Like, you don't have to keep changing your routine or finding the best routine or listening to some guru on a podcast. You got to listen to yourself. Like, you truly got to tune into yourself and go, meditation makes me calm. That's what it is. Oh, red light therapy is what works for me. That's what it is. But you've got to be consistent. You need to be doing it regularly, every day, or turmeric shots, whatever it is, and then you'll see you'll reap the rewards. But the trouble with us human beings, it's that consistency is it can be tricky for some people. Hence why accountability and being around the right people and stuff like that is, for me, is very, very important. But once you lock in that habit, then you can add another habit to it. So like my first practice years ago was just a bit of meditation because I was mental and I was just watching how busy the mind was. And I could sit for about 5 or 10 minutes before I went mental and had to get up. Honestly, it was crazy. Now I can sit for like 30, 40 minutes and I don't want to get up. And I'm like, but Brett, you got some work to do. And I'm like, no. But then once I got that habit in, then it was adding the 10,000 steps. And then once that was in, then it was like maybe doing a workout. Then it was an ice bath. Then it was a sauna. And I'm very, I wouldn't say privileged because I created this life, but I'm very grateful that I made the choices I made, because my morning practice, all of that now, I spend like 2 hours really getting myself into the zone. And then I start my work about between 8:30 and 9 o'clock. So I spend a good few hours in the morning really reconnecting to whatever it is inside me beyond all the busy thoughts, and really, connecting to nature and finding that peace before I start my day. So that's my routine, really, mate.
Yeah. And what you left out is the fact that when you go to the gym I've been to your gym and it's brilliant. It's like a proper social night out. You do a little workout and then you're sitting around the ice bath and there's a campfire and there's a sauna and there's a chat, and everyone knows, Brett, where you live in Thailand as well. And so it's pretty social, isn't it?
Yeah, very social. Yeah. And then obviously in the evening, I do a lot of Latino dancing as well. So I haven't drunk for many, many years, but the vibe, if I could say anything to anybody right now, I've always been promoting meditation. Now I would want to promote dancing to people. It is incredible. Like, get out, go and meet new people. There's so many studies that are talking about the effects of dancing, from presenting so many different kind of diseases that we get when we're older, because you're cognitively having to think about the moves. From a personal development point of view, it brings all your insecurities out, but then the friendships and the people that I've made along this way is incredible. So again, back to community, I guess, and back to socializing with human beings, which is something the screens have kind of like stopped us from doing for some reason.
Yeah. And talking of screens, I've got another call. I've got another podcast. I've got to
go. Brilliant.
I'm going from Thailand to Australia. But Brett, it's lovely to chat. Just remind people of your Instagram address.
It's Brett Moran _.
Yeah, brilliant. Love everything you do, mate. It's really, really good to catch up. Hope to see you at some point in 2026 as well.
See you later, mate. Have a good one.
All right. Thanks, mate.